Hello, and welcome everyone to Your Body Awakening series. I am your host, Alexandra Montfort, and I have here with me the wonderful Anaiya Sophia. Thank you for being here with us today. Let me just tell you a little bit about Anaiya. She is a Kundalini yoga instructor. She's an initiated priestess for the Rose line from the Grail lineage. She teaches and unveils the oral traditions of Sophia, which is a lineage, continuous lineage regarding the feminine principle. And she is also an author of several books, namely Open Your Heart with Kundalini Yoga, Womb Wisdom, which is a book that I have, her latest, Sacred Relationships, the Practice of Intimate Erotic Love, and much more. So welcome again, Anaiya. I am very grateful and happy to have you talking with our audience. And I know you have a lot of valuable and wonderful information to share to us.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. It's an absolute privilege to be here.
Thank you. So I just want to start with probably just asking you to talk a little bit about your work and how you came to be, basically.
Well, I'm going to do a summarized version.
Okay.
It all began when I was 7 years old. Mm-hmm. I was with my parents on the steps of the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. We'd just been inside the cathedral and we were coming down, and I saw what looked like a beggar or a homeless person sat on the steps with his hands out as if asking for money or food. I was so attracted to him that I kept looking, and even when we walked past, I still kept looking over my shoulder. I knew I had to go to him. Mm-hmm. I had to escape my dad's hand and run back to this guy. So I did. And as I put my hands on top of his cupped hands, mm-hmm. He was obviously surprised to feel someone do that. And so he looked up. And this beloved young man, I'd say he was in his 20s, he had the face of an angel. He had bright blue cobalt eyes that were filled with moist love. And I just started bawling my eyes out from a mixture of happiness and loneliness, because I knew in that moment there was someone on the planet who understood me. This man was coming from my home. That's the language of that little 7-year-old girl. He's from home. And my father had to almost pull me off him because I did not want to leave. So that was the beginning. So obviously I then spent the rest of my life looking for those bright blue eyes. And I soon saw them again in churches, in the expression of Jesus. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, there they are again. And so I started to watch movies, and I was like, yeah, there they are again. And so that kind of longing, that kind of desire just built and built and built. And then I got into relationships, and so I'm looking for the blue eyes in relationships, and I find quite a few pairs of those blue eyes, but that didn't work out so well. So then I started to study relationships, okay, as well as obviously, the Kundalini yoga, the Shakti, the energy, feminine energy. I've always been very into beauty. I used to be a fashion designer. Oh. So I've always adored dressing people up, making them look and feel incredible. And so that tendency went from the materialistic world into the spiritual world. And that's it pretty much, really. It's very simple. Beauty, love, blue eyes.
Oh my gosh, that's really, it's beautiful to listen to your story. That's nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I actually have one of your books with me right here, Womb Wisdom.
Yes.
And the first time I started reading it, I was surprised. I was amazed. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So much about my body that I don't know specifically about the womb, and I never have heard it written or spoken to about in such a manner. And so there's actually a short passage that I want to read, and we can go from there because it stood out to me. So it says, the womb is not just a place to give birth to a baby. It is a place and state of being that birthed us, that births new realities, that holds the power for deep transformation for ourselves, for others with whom we come into contact. And I thought that was such a lovely sentence. And as I'm even reading it, I could feel it in my body. And I want to ask you if you could just tell us a little bit more about our womb and why it is important for a woman to learn about her and know how to connect with her.
Well, my understanding is that the womb is a woman's anchor, still point, seat of gravitas, and absolute communion with the natural world. If you meet a woman who has made her journey down into the womb, you are going to feel very safe in her energy because you will sense those aspects. You will sense that she's anchored, resting in her own uncomplicated nature, and absolutely intrinsically united with the natural forces of nature. She's not going to be in her mind. She won't be flighty. And obviously, my partner sat across the room from me when we go. Because when I leave the womb space, that is where I'll tend to go, up into the head, back into the mind of the mental or emotional, too responsive, too reactionary. When a woman knows how to come down, all is very still. And it's not light, it's dark. But when I say dark energy, that energy is the quality of love before light makes things visible. So it's the pre-manifestation state. It's that moment where we're rippling and twitching because we're still in a fetal energy. So this is the just before something's born experience. Women have this in them 24 hours a day. Women can access that dark light, or what do I call it? Black light. Just like that. Men spend their whole life seeking it because the last time they experienced it, they were in the womb. And I do not believe that they can experience it without either a woman's womb or a cave environment. But I suspect, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that cave environment because I sleep in caves. And they can be cold, they can be damp, they can be hard. The woman's black light of her womb is warm, restful, deeply silent, and totally restorative.
I think just by listening to you, you just brought me really down into that space. And really, when you mentioned that we're always busy, we're always in our mind. That's really an aspect where we have a hard time to be is present. And the way you're speaking is that where a woman's most potential or power is when she's not so much in her head, but more so in her womb space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you combine that with her active menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
now you've taken the dial right up to the highest potential of that lady. But of course, women who aren't aware of this yet will get the first twinges of their menstrual cycle, their cramp or their headache, and they will avoid going to the womb because the womb is uncomfortable right now. It's hot, you're getting sweaty at night, strange smells are around, all of that bodily, denial of the body. But I suspect it's doing all of that phenomena because it wants your attention. Go to the womb on those first days of your menstrual cycle. Be with the whole bodily mess, if you like, of it all. Because that, my beloved lady, is your power. And you need it more than ever before now, because we must make that pilgrimage to the natural world. Looking at the state of politics at the moment, Brexit, Donald Trump, the antidote to all of that is womb awareness and being with that gorgeous naturalness.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
I'm getting a little bit excited myself.
This is good. This is good. We need that. We need that type of energy. This is wonderful. Oh, and so how does a woman being in her womb space, being in her feminine and all her creativity, and how does that affect her relationships and with her beloved and her sexuality, her ability to feel and experience pleasure?
Okay, so how can this affect her relationships? In relationship, there will be many opportunities when a crisis comes up, when it gets a bit edgy, a bit, argumenting, crisis time. The best thing she can do in that moment is to drop into her womb space, rehabilitate, restore, come together in her own internal sacred union. So if she's not finding the support from the masculine in that moment, go inside to your womb where you will meet your own internal masculine. Be supported and held by him in those moments. So it's like self-resourcing. So that's that part. That's what I mean by the anchor. When it all gets a bit crazy, come to your anchor. Bear down and make that connection with the natural world. And you will be steady. And you will remain standing despite all the issues coming up. Now in sexuality, if a woman is in her womb space, she won't really be very interested in the old model of sex. Hard and fast and sweaty and wild. It's okay. That part of the sexual life will still be there, but she will start wanting something else. She will be wanting to go deeper into the wordless places, the inner sanctum, the holy of holies, that deep, deep place inside of a woman. So this is not an imaginary place. This is not a spiritual place. There is a real place on the inside physicality of a woman. And if you've accidentally sort of fallen into that place, I'm telling you the truth right now. But it takes a certain quality of presence and availability from the partner. And so if he's just wanting sex and her womb is saying, we want to go somewhere different now, there could be a little bit of angst in that relationship. So the best thing that woman can do is drop down into her anchor and speak to her beloved partner from that place and say, beloved, I need to go deeper. There's something in me that hasn't been opened yet. There's something in me that I want to share with you, but it's not going to look like sex. I have no clue what it's going to look like. I have no clue what's going to come out of me in the terminology of behavior and sound, but I suspect it's going to be worth it. And then you see the woman can open herself by doing all the practices and processes in the books you mentioned, particularly Womb Wisdom. But the real archaeology can only be done with a man, because you need those buttons pressed. You need a man's physical presence to lean into, actually, those parts of the internal system of the yoni and the womb. And when it happens, you'll know about it. And I think that is wonderful. I'm really glad that you need both qualities, because that is absolutely the sacred union template. I'm really pleased that it takes both to get there, because that's only fair. There is a huge amount of power to be found in that place. And when a woman opens, she's going to so need that beloved masculine partner to hold her still whilst it's happening. He becomes the pillar, you see. He's the straight rod, and she is the open vulnerability.
So he would be there.
And authority.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
And authority. She will come into contact with that sacred feminine unapologetically.
Oh, lovely. So it would be him really holding that space for her as she, if that's a good term, expands in a way.
Expands, let go in ways that we cannot even talk about, because it's so monumental, it's so huge.
And would that experience be unique from a woman to another?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Ah, nice. All right. Yeah. Wonderful. So there was something else that caught my attention in Womb Wisdom, is when it talked about negative emotions or positive emotions, experiences, trauma that we live through that are actually held into our womb. And thinking about that could potentially prevent a woman from expanding or from really connecting with her partner or experiencing really pleasure the way that she desires. And so how can she heal from these experiences that are held and these emotions that are held within her womb?
Well, I am a great advocate of physical processes. I like to do things for real. So there's some wonderful things out there available to us now. Thank God. Thank you to all the beautiful ladies who created all this stuff. There are things called Yoni steams. This is what I would call step one. Step one, let's start at the beginning. Step one, write down your sexual history. And all the things that have happened to you sexually, gynecology, womb health, womb surgery, pregnancies, abortions. Write it all down. Get it down on paper. So now we have a map. This is what we need to heal. Okay, step two, yoni steaming. This is a wonderful, deeply restful and herbal process that absolutely brings all of your energy down into the womb and yoni. You literally sit over a bowl of steaming herbs in exactly the same way you'd give yourself a facial. So I'm going to probably give you a few little links, if you like, of where to find these really good quality yoni steams. Step 2. So now that you've been emptied, now that herbal vapors have got into you and starting the healing process of cleaning and purifying, then you might consider the yoni eggs, working with crystal yoni eggs. In exactly the same way we work with crystals around our necks, around our bellies. So you insert a proper yoni egg, not just something, a decorative egg that you find on your mantelpiece. You need to be able to find the real yoni egg. Programming to clean and heal and purify certain trespasses that you are very aware of that you're carrying. And using something very gentle like a rose quartz, a very celestial, high vibration, beautiful crystal. And you would insert that and leave it there until it came out by itself. Now, of course, there's going to be lots of mind activity around that one. How do you do this? What if it never comes out? What if I need to go to the hospital and get it removed?
Right.
This, beloved ladies, is just thought forms. None of it is nor can be real. They can't get lost. They always naturally come out. Or if you don't want to leave it to come out naturally, you just take it out yourself. 50% of the yoni eggs on the market have a little string, so you just simply pull it like a tampon until you get really, really secure and know that you can just fish it out with your own hands. And then step 3, this is what I call the invisible line. So step 3, you've done your healing, you've done your purifying, you've looked at everything differently now with new eyes. You think twice about your contraception methods. You think twice about, the kind of oils and creams that you're using in that area. You even think twice about the actual fabrics your undergarments are made of. And now comes the invisible line. You are now cleaned, purified, and looking good. In the yoni womb department, all is well. And now you must make a line in the sand and look back at your past and go, ooh, that's interesting. That's special. And now you think twice about your sexual partners and where the sexual activity is taking place. Some ladies make the mistake of thinking they only have to be conscious of their partners. No, you must become conscious of the actual environment that you're making love in, because you are now healed and cleaned on the inside. When you make love, you will act like a giant black hole. Not only will you take in the emotional and energetic condition of your partner, you will take in the frequency of the room that you are making love in.
Wow.
And this is the radical new paradigm consciousness for women when it comes to sexuality. Obviously, there's 1,001 more things that are now available consciously for women, but this is first base. If I say anything, let it be this. Be aware of the condition your partner's in. Be aware of the condition you're in, your partner, and your environment. And if all is looking good, that is the time to say yes. And if there's anything about any of those three components that are so obviously wrong, do not go there.
Oh, wow.
A no is only a no for a moment. A no may become a yes in an hour's time because you've changed location or you've changed energy.
There's so many things that came through my mind. The first one was you mentioned the word was the awareness, which is in the beginning you have awareness of like what is and where you are and where you're coming from. And when you go through that process of healing, now it's a different awareness of what will I accept into my space, into my life, and what will I, keep at a distance, because now I'm a different person in a way. I'm in a different space. And that was a very new piece to me when you mentioned about being aware of the environment. I never thought about that. I thought only it was the individual, but that was very intriguing to me for you to mention that.
Well, on a subconscious level, you're always interacting with the environment. We just don't talk about this stuff.
Yes.
But the body is interacting with everything, reading data, responding to old emotions left in rooms, left in beds. Oh my God, we are navigating this 24 hours a day. The body knows. And if the body knows, then the body is engaged with something. And when a woman opens up, everything opens up.
Lovely. Oh, wow. Okay. We still have a few minutes. So if you could talk briefly about the womb-heart connection. That was a term that I found in your book. If you could, just expand a little bit on that.
Yes. So, the first part of my life, that guy on the steps of Sacré-Cœur, that was what I call the beginning of my heart opening. In 2009, when I wrote Womb Wisdom, that was my womb opening. All of those years later, I had to return to sexuality because I'd leapfrogged over sexuality and jumped straight into my heart with Kundalini Yoga. So when I went into my womb journey, and it was deep because it had to be, because I had a health crisis at the time, I kind of left the Sacred Heart alone and just dived straight first into womb wisdom. And I was very aware of how my personality had changed. My joy had gone. My spontaneity had gone. My playfulness had gone. And so I remembered towards the end of the womb journey, oh, hang on a minute. I need to reunite my heart and my womb, because I'm in my womb and yoni. I'm doing this alchemical work. I'm healing. I'm forgiving. I'm opening. And so by the time I came to the end of womb wisdom, I realized I had to bring the two parts of me together again. And when you have a lady who is in her womb and united with her heart, it actually makes her love deeper. Because if you're just in your heart and you come up against a challenge or a crisis, because you don't have the big gravitas, the anchor underneath your heart, you can sort of be a bit thin when it comes to commitment. And you can just literally up and go. But when that womb is supporting that ability of yours to love, then you can hold steady, because this is that great big, that this is the mama bear. Whereas the heart can often be seen as the gorgeous little playful lamb.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely need both.
Mm-hmm. That's very, oh my gosh. It really got me pondering a lot more as I'm hearing you talk. So, how can our audience actually connect then with their womb?
Well, for me, you see, before I came to Womb Wisdom, I was a Kundalini yoga teacher. So my first internal movement was to move my meditation from my third eye to my womb, which was very easy. You just change the focus of your eyes and you just drop down energetically. And I thought, wow, that was easy. No big deal. But then a wonderful piece of wisdom came to me. And the wisdom says, do not drop down the center of your body to find me. Come through me, through the legs. Come through me in the same way that you make love. Now, this produced a very different landscape. So I imagined that I was a little spacecraft. My consciousness was a little spacecraft. I moved from my third eye and I came to rest between my legs. And I looked up and I saw my physical yoni and went, oh shit. I gotta go through there. Now this makes it very authentic. Very real, very visceral. Can you see what I mean? It's so easy to just drop down. Et voila, I'm in the womb. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is imagination only. Make the journey through the labia, through the clitoris, through the G-spot, through the cervix, through the ovaries, fallopian tubes. Now you're in the womb. Because we all have so many impressions and emotions around this female genitalia.
Yes.
That is the big healing and the big cleaning.
You gave me a very different perspective, because that's what I would do. Yes. I would just try to go straight, like you said, the imagination, the visualization. That's what I would be doing. But really, it actually is helping you to actually know your vulva, your vagina, and all those steps to go through that part first and go inside and go deeper even again.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, thank you for that.
And I used to do things like eavesdropping. So again, this little spaceship of consciousness, I'd go to the clitoris and I would listen. What is your voice? What haven't you said to me? Why, yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a different
now level. A dialogue is opening up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you remember? What do you remember when you were a young lady? And all this stuff from school days, young teenage. She remembers everything.
A lot of intimacy right there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anaiya. We're reaching the end of our interview. Before we end, I know that you have a special gift for our audience. So can you please share what it is?
Well, do you know what it is?
I would like to know more of what it is.
I can't remember which free gift I've given your audience.
Let me.
I think it could be the Sacred Gateways. That would have made sense.
It is. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yes, it is. Secret Gateways Transmission, the whole journey.
That's handy. It's only because I've had Sacred Relationships came out a few months ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've had this period of like daily interviews.
Okay.
This free gift is that journey we've just been speaking about,
Oh,
where you become the little spaceship of consciousness and you take that journey through the internal environment, the internal horizon of your yoni, intimately, with great detail and great awareness, until you reach that gorgeous cathedral of black light, the womb. And so we take that journey together, hand in hand, slowing everything right down so that you can have that moment to breathe and reflect and develop deep awareness of yourself on the inside and really begin that purifying process.
Well, thank you so much. Your message is so important because we don't speak about it enough. And I don't know if I haven't seen your book, I don't know where I would be with that type of knowledge. So thank you so much. And for talking to our audience. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, of course. All right, now, well, enjoy the rest of it's evening over there. Okay, yes, enjoy the rest of your evening, Anaiya.
Okay. Thank you.